So this is Quideo number 4, and so the basic question is: the Census Bureau reports that households spend an average of 31% of their total spending on housing. A home builders association in Cleveland believes that this average is lower in their area. They interview a sample of 40 households in the Cleveland metropolitan area to learn what percent of their spending goes toward housing. Take EMU to be the mean percent of spending devoted to housing among all Cleveland households. We want to test a hypothesis. So as you can see, we have our hypothesis, and then we have the population standard deviation, which they give to us, which is 9.6%. And so our first question is asking us, what is the sampling distribution of the mean percent X that the sample spends on housing if the null hypothesis is true? Sketch the density curve of the sampling distribution. Hint, sketch a normal curve first and mark the axis using what you know about locating mu and standard deviation on a normal curve. So what I did first was list out all the information the problem gave us first off, including n, which is the 40 households. And then I wanted to find standard deviation x, which is done with a standard deviation over the square root of n. So I did 9.6 over the square root of 40, and that gave me 1.518% for my standard deviation x. And so what I did with this is I created a normal curve with 31% in the middle, and then 1.518 as the standard deviations for the 3 increments going along. So for example, one standard deviation below 31% at 1.518% would be 29.482%. And so I did that 3 times, each going down and then going up. And so that gave me a value of 31% and then 1.518% for n. Next, also don't worry about the shaded part, this is for C, by the way. Next anyways, suppose that the study finds x equals 30.2% for the 40 households in the sample. Mark this point on the axis in your sketch. Then suppose that the study result is x equals 27.6%. Mark this point on your sketch. Referring to your sketch, explain in simple language why one result is good evidence that average Cleveland spending on housing is less than 31%, whereas the other result is not. So basically we're referring to our sketch here. And so what I said was 30.2% is closer to the middle. As you guys can see, I marked it up here. While 27.6% is closer to the tail end, which is all the way over here, of the normal curve. And so 30.2% is likely to occur and fails to reject the HO. And remember, our HO is that the U will equal 31%. And then the 27.6% is further away and is unlikely to occur, therefore rejecting the HO. So it rejects the mu equals 31%. Next, for part C, it says shade the area under the curve that gives the p-value of the result x equals 30.2%. Note that we are looking for evidence that spending is less than the null hypothesis states. So basically, we shade in the area from the 30.2% to the left, and this is what represents what spending is less than the null hypothesis, which is mu equals 31%. And that is the basic question.